Hi, I'm Matt from Duo Security. In this video, I'm going to show you how to configure and start the Duo Authentication Proxy on a Linux system using CentOS 7 in order to protect a generic Radius application that uses a Radius server for primary authentication. Note that this video assumes you have already successfully installed the Duo Authentication Proxy and created a generic Radius application in the Duo admin panel. You can watch a video on installing the proxy on Linux at duo.com/docs/authproxy-overview. Log in to your Linux system as a root user. For this video, we will use PuTTY to access our system. Then open a browser and navigate to duo.com/docs/radius. Scroll down to the Configure the Proxy section. Using the path provided in the documentation, open authproxy.cfg using a text editor of your choice. This file may contain example content and comments indicating what each section and parameter does, which you can delete. The sample content in this file has already been deleted. Create a client section to configure your proxy to interact with the primary authenticator. Since we are using a Radius server for this example, create a Radius_client section at the top of your config file. Below that line, start a new line with host equals and then enter the hostname or IP address of your Radius server. Next, begin a line with secret equals and enter the secret to be shared between the proxy and your Radius server. These lines make up the minimum parameters needed for the proxy to interact with Radius for primary authentication. In your browser, log in to the Duo admin panel. Click Applications and navigate to the Properties page for your generic Radius application. You need the integration key, secret key, and API hostname from this page to finish configuring your proxy. Now configure the proxy to interact with your Radius device. In your config file, add an empty line after the last line of your Radius client section. Create a Radius_server_auto section. Add a line that starts with I key equals and paste your integration key from your application's properties page in the Duo admin panel. Then add a line that starts with S key equals and paste your secret key. Next, create a line that begins with API_host equals and paste your API hostname. Enter a new line that starts with Radius_IP_1 equals and input the IP address of your Radius device. Below that, create a Radius_secret_1 equals line and enter the secret shared with Radius clients matching Radius IP1. Finally, on a new line, type client equals Radius_client. This parameter is optional if you only have one client section. If you have multiple client sections, each server section should specify which client to use. You have now configured your proxy to interact with a generic Radius device. Save your configuration file and exit. Now you need to start the proxy. On the documentation page, scroll down to the Start the Proxy section. Click the Linux tab. Copy the provided start command and run it in your terminal. The authentication proxy will start running. You can use the status command provided in this section to determine whether the proxy started successfully. You have successfully configured and started the Duo Authentication Proxy on Linux.